Hey! What's up, Improvement Warriors? It's I, Jason Yun, back again. It is another Mobilization Friday, and today we are going to be focusing on the wrist, the fingers, and the forearms, because it is the wrist combined with the ankles that are probably the most neglected area of the body. And it's the two areas that we use the most, because we're always using our hands, picking things up, pushing things around, doing all kinds of stuff, and we're always walking on our feet, which is obviously connected to our ankles. So I'm going to show you some exercises that you can do, and these exercises will help to keep the pain away. And if you do have pain, if you do have carpal tunnel, if you have finger issues, tight forearms, wrist pain, anything like that, it's going to help to alleviate that pain. First exercise, so you're just going to need, for the fingers and the wrists, we're just going to need our body weight. And then for the forearms, we'll need an actual lacrosse ball or something very, very hard so we can get into that deep tissue massage. So with the forearms, what you're going to do is we want to come down, hands flat and hands facing, or fingers facing forward. And then we're basically just going to rock forward as far as we can. Only thing, we don't want the palms to come forward. And we're just rocking here, back and forth. Now if there is pain, don't put as much weight through your hands as you can. You should be able to put as much through your palms as you can handle without any pain. Okay? And you're just going back and forth, back and forth. Okay? Then the next area, so you do that for about a minute or two. Next, you're going to turn the hands behind. Make sure the fingertips are still pointing right back towards your knees. And then keeping the palm down, don't let this palm come up. Keeping the arms straight, you're just going to slide back. You'll feel a big stretch down here. Okay, and you just go back as far as you can. All right, and you just rock as far as you can. Hold for a couple seconds. Rock back up. Rock back down. Okay, this will help stretch out those areas. So if you're always typing on the keyboard, those areas will get really tight, and this area will get really tight. And we'll address this a little bit later with the lacrosse ball. Okay, so you're here, pushing back, pushing back. Again, 1 to 2 minutes there. Then we're going to flip the hands over and just shake everything out after you do everything, or after you do each exercise. Okay. Then we're going to go here on top. Okay, so hands face down, middle fingers touching each other, and again, put as much pressure down as you can. You're not going to be able to handle as much pressure this way as you were the other way. And you're just going to rock side to side here. Okay, and again, putting as much pressure as you can. Every time you do it, you should be able to put a little bit more pressure on it. And this is something you can do at home. This is something you can do while watching TV. Something you can do while at work. Okay? Because if you get really tight at work, then that's bad. Okay? It'll lead to carpal tunnel, lead to wrist problems, and all that stuff. So just back and forth, back and forth. 1 minute there. Again, shake it out. Then take your fingers. Okay? We're going to do each finger. Okay, so you're just here, put as much pressure down as you can, and with each individual finger, you're not going to be able to put as much pressure as you were with the full hand. Okay, we'll go back as far as we can and just stretch it out. Now here you can rock back, or you can just go into a static stretch and just hold it out there. Okay. Do about each finger, 30 seconds to a minute, then take the middle finger, same thing. Okay, 30 seconds to a minute. Then take the ring fingers, same thing. And then take the pinkies, same thing. Back and forth. Okay, and then that's it for those exercises. Then the next thing you're going to do, we're going to work on the forearms, releasing this tension, because they get really tight with all the typing. These muscles here constantly activated, and then as we pick things up and we carry things, these muscles will get activated as well. So if everything gets super tight, it's going to affect the wrist, and it's also going to affect the elbow. So if you have elbow pain, this is awesome for it as well. I had tennis elbow, and this is one of the exercises that I did constantly to help alleviate that pain. So what you do, take the lacrosse ball, and then you're just going to place your wrist starting at the top as high as you can. If you can put more pressure down, that's fine as well, but again, you want to put as much pressure down as you can handle at the time. And each time you go through it, you should be able to put more pressure down on it as you go. And for the tissue to be nice and safe, you should be able to put as much pressure down into the ball as you can and not feel any pain at all. Okay? That is the way our tissue should work. And that's all over the body. But you're basically here, okay, and you're just going back and forth, back and forth. Okay? If there's no tender spots, if you don't find a trigger point, then you just move up an inch and then do it back and forth there. Okay? And you're just trying to find trigger points. So I found one right here, and I'm just going to stay here a little bit longer, and I'll breathe. Most important thing is breathing through this entire thing. Make sure it's deep breathing, back and forth, back and forth. Ow. Okay? Back and forth, back and forth. And you're just here. You just stay there. Another technique you can do is flex and relax. So flex your forearm, make a fist, squeeze everything as hard as you can, and then exhale. You should fall deeper into the ball, and that'll help relieve the tension as well. But you just go back and forth, all the way up to the elbow. Okay? And you're there. And then just stay there for the areas that you feel more trigger points. If you don't feel any trigger point, then you can just do a massage or move on to another area, move on to the other hand. Then we're going to do the top of the wrist, or top of the forearm. So this one, you just take it down, push down as hard as you can, and then you're going back and forth, trying to find a little more areas. For me, and for most people, this area is a little more tight, so you're not going to be able to put as much pressure down through it. Now, and you're just going back and forth. Find a trigger point, stay there, breathe as deeply as you can. You can do the squeeze, release technique as well. But just back and forth, back and forth. Okay. Find those areas, stay there. And obviously you would do both sides, and then you go all the way down as far as you can, or as close to the wrist as you can without hitting the wrist. The other things you can do with your wrist is you take the lacrosse ball and make sure it's not a smooth lacrosse ball. So they have smoother lacrosse balls and they have not so smooth. This is one of the smoother ones, and let me get one of the other ones. It isn't as smooth. Okay. So this one's actually cut in half, but it'll still work. And so we don't want it smooth because we're going to push in to our wrist, and then we're going to screw. So I don't know if you can see the skin being tautened up. And once it is tautened, then you're going to be moving the forearm just back and forth in little circles. So this will really help with carpal tunnel or any wrist pain that you have. Okay, just back and forth. Then you can move on the top of the wrist, do the same thing, little motions, and then over there. Okay, so when we take up the slack, our skin should be able to move. So we should be able to just move. It's a sliding surface all over. If our skin is too tight, it's going to tighten the entire system down, so it's not going to be able to work, and that's what leads to pain, and that's what leads to a lot of injuries. That is it for the wrist, fingers, forearm Mobilization Friday. Hope you liked it. Share it if you know anybody with wrist pain, anything like that. If you have any questions, leave it down below, and I will see you next week for Mobilization Friday. Anything you want me to work on next, or you have any pain, let me know. and we'll get to it. I'll see you. Stay strong. Stay positive. Be the improvement warrior.